I was completely different 20 years ago to how I am now. I was a complete mess. I was wild, reckless, and really lazy. I lived in a squat with 20 other people, and worked odd jobs at any bar and cafe that would hire me. When I wasn't working, I was having pints with my colleagues at the bars I worked at, or going to house parties with my friends. I didn't have any ambition, and did just enough work to get by. I was also really hot-tempered, and I got into a lot of fights with friends over stupid things. I have a lot of regrets about the past. I dropped out of university because I didn't want to work hard and wanted to go clubbing every night instead. If I had made an effort to finish, my family and I would be a lot better off now financially. I also spent way too much money on drugs, alcohol, and cigarettes. I barely had enough money to spend on food, so ended up eating junk food most of the time. I also often couldn't make my rent, which is how I ended up living in a squat. I didn't keep in touch with close friends as I got older. I now rarely see people other than my daughter and her mother. What I regret most is that I didn't see my father a lot before he passed away. If I had seen him more often, his absence would be less painful. Having a family changed me, because it forced me to become more mature and responsible. Partying all the time and drinking beer with friends wasn't an issue when I was the only person I cared about. Now that I have a daughter and girlfriend whom I love, I always think about how my decisions influence me. My relationship with my daughter softened me. If she hadn't been born, I would still be closed off and distant, like I was when I was younger. I'm now a lot kinder to other people. It also helped me grow a lot closer with my girlfriend, who would have left me had I not committed to raising our daughter. There are too many things I did growing up that I'm ashamed of. I'm ashamed of how I treated my parents growing up. If they hadn't supported me as a teenager, I wouldn't have made it through secondary school. I'm ashamed of how I treated people I was in a relationship with, especially my current girlfriend. If she hadn't put up with my attitude, I wouldn't have a family now. I'm also ashamed of how badly I did at secondary school. I cared more about how many girls I could go out with and how cool I was than about my grades. What I'm probably most ashamed of is that I used to mud people if I didn't have any money. If I hadn't stopped doing it when I got older, I would be in prison now. If I became 18 again, I would have worked harder at secondary school, so I could have got into a better university. I would then have made an effort to actually graduate from the university I got into. I would have thought a lot more about the future and what I wanted out of it. I would have taken a year off in between secondary school and university to learn more about myself and go to different countries. If I had traveled more when I was 18, I'd be a lot more open-minded and accepting of other cultures. I would have stopped spending so much money on drugs, cigarettes, and alcohol, and saved up more. If I had saved more when I was younger, I would now be able to retire.